Grab your cocktail and get ready for this episode of the Old Fashion Masonic Podcast. So before we start this episode and get into it, I have to give you a little bit of a trigger warning. I've not done this on any prior episode. Some of the content that you will hear from our guest in this video will be triggering. It's dope in lodge is mentioned. People paying $50,000 to become a master of a lodge in Russia is mentioned. Unthinkable crimes on young people are mentioned, and even with some comparisons to some large churches. So if any of those things might trigger you or set you off, this is your fair warning to probably not watch this episode. But we're going to have a real deep dive on a brother that's in Russian Freemason, Freemasonry, and how they're forced to toast Vladimir Putin. So again, just wanted to give that trigger warning of what's coming up in this episode. Welcome to the Old Fashion Masonic Podcast, where we talk all things Freemasons while drinking an old fashioned. I'm Brian, and with me today, I've got the pleasure to introduce Alex Galilov, and I want to talk about, he has seen some episodes that we've done in the past, which we'll talk about later. You'll figure out that he is a member of Freemasonry in Russia. So that's your tease. So before we go any further, as you know, on this podcast, we like to know as much about the man as we do the Mason. So first of all, Alex, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Brian, for inviting me. That's a pleasure to be there and to participate in your great channel and to this podcast. Thank you very much.
Oh, I love it. So before we get into your experience in Freemasonry, tell our listeners, who are you?
No problem, with pleasure. So I'm Alex Galilov. I'm 39 years old. I'm today I'm I'm living in Switzerland. So in 2000, when I was 7 years old, I moved to Switzerland with my mother. I was born in Moscow. So my stepfather is Swiss. I'm a Swiss citizen with Russian roots. I grew up here. We are now here in Bellinzona, the Italian part of Switzerland. So it's my Swiss origin is the Italian part of Switzerland. I'm actually living in Morges, so that's the French part of Switzerland. I'm working in the marine insurance. I have one daughter. She's 9 years old. And about Alex the man, I think that's enough. Apart, maybe one thing that I also enjoy all what is related to the spiritual world. I'm very interested in that. I'm also part of several initiating organizations not linked directly to Masonry. So
okay.
That's them.
Very good. Now that's a great deal, and the spiritual side is going to come out later in the conversation. So I'm very excited about that. So you live in Switzerland. You're in the insurance world, and you've got a daughter. You've got a girlfriend. You're living in Switzerland. Do you do some skiing while you're there?
Yeah, ski. All the
cliches.
Sports which are related to the mountain. I'm doing that. So I'm doing ski. I'm doing bike. I'm doing hiking. I'm swimming. I'm doing also a little bit of sailing on the lake. So I'm trying to keep my physical health at the top top level.
I like it.
So yeah, we very sensitive to that. So always been in the sports as well. So yeah, that's my life here. Yeah,
I love it. I love it. How about yodeling? Is there any yodeling going on?
I'm sorry?
Yodeling?
No, I'm not yodeling.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to make
yodeling.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
In the region where I am, we don't have yodeling. Yodeling is in the central and the eastern part of Switzerland. So that's something more linked to the German-speaking Switzerland. So it's the center of Switzerland. So Zurich, Appenzell, Zug, Schwyz, and so on. So it's the central
Okay.
part.
So
Small
the
countries,
German
but
region
rich of
of
cultures.
Switzerland, they yodel.
Exactly.
Gotcha. See, we all learned something today, guys, and it just wasn't about masonry. We know where the Swiss yodeling region of the world is now.
Yeah,
So,
indeed.
so we know who Alex the man is. So, Alex, talk about when you joined masonry, why you joined masonry, and then we'll go to the next part.
All right, no problem. With pleasure. So after my studies, I studied political science at the University of Lausanne in Switzerland. In 2010, I started my first job in reinsurance. I've been sent by my employer to Moscow to develop the business there. So I started my career there in 2010, and I was always interested in the spiritual world, in the history of religions, in several spiritual practices, and started to read about Masonry. There were some very interesting podcasts about international Masons, about worldwide Masons, French Masons, Italian Masons, Russian Masons. And I said to myself, look, now you are in something, so your life is going in a path which professionally, okay, you see like a path. Now you need to develop something spiritual in yourself. That was what I told to myself. And I started to do some research, and in all my good faith, I joined the Grand Lodge of Russia in 2014. So yeah, it was something which started very quickly. So the interview went very quickly. I started in a lodge called Lotus Brotherly Love, so which was working in um, what's the name? Amended Scottish, ancient and accepted Scottish Rite.
Yep.
Sorry, my English.
Yep.
I need to translate.
AASR.
Yeah. ASR, indeed.
Yep.
And I did my till the master degree within this lodge. Then, for some dynamics, which I will explain later, I also joined the Memphis Mid-Frame complementary degrees. And thanks to that, in the meantime, a group of Freemasons of Grand Lodge of Russia founded also their lodge, Giuseppe Garibaldi, which was working in the Memphis Mid-Frame Rite, so the Eastern Rite. And since this rite, it's very spiritual, very mystical, and was like really something which I felt very close to me, to my nature, to my spiritual nature, I changed to this lodge. Thanks to that, I really could make like a spiritual evolution within myself, connection. And then I went to other paths, which are not linked to Masonry, but are much more spiritual, much more mystics. One that I can mention is, for example, the Haute Église Libérale Indépendante Orthodoxe Syriaque, is the high Gnostic church with the center in Corps-sur-Ciel in France, where we have also
the agnostic church.
Exactly, it's the agnostic church, which is also the members of this church are people coming from Rosicrucian tradition, from Martinist tradition, Memphis Mid-Frame tradition. So something a little bit, how to say, something spiritual in a more mystic than the Masonry, which gives a good basis to work then afterwards.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's a little bit long story short, and that's a little bit my evolution. And in 2017, I came back to Switzerland for family reasons, because I had a daughter. Then in 2017, I also felt that situation in Russia was little changing in a way I didn't like too much.
Yeah.
And but I kept my membership of the Grand Lodge of Russia and the Giuseppe Garibaldi. So I was always with them. Here in Switzerland, I had the chance also to get to participate to some works of the Les Frères Inconnus de Memphis, which is the Memphis Mid-Frame Lodge of the Grand Lodge Alpina in Lausanne. Okay. So I had really this experience, but I always kept this connection, because I had really this spiritual connection with Giuseppe Garibaldi, with my brothers, and this was very important for me also because then I was traveling for work to Russia, to Ukraine. I was going everywhere. It was other times, and it was always convenient for me because then you can go to visit your brothers, you can go to
Yeah,
works, for me it was also something to use in a social way to keep the link.
absolutely.
Yeah, so far it was good. Then there were some dynamics that were not acceptable for me anymore. These dynamics started already when I was at the end of my years in Russia, so the last 2015,
You started to see some
2016.
things.
Yes, I started to feel and see some roots of some problems that you mentioned in your previous podcasts. So a lot of politics. I mean, not only internal politics, but really, how to say, influence of the political constellation of Russia, because as you know, Bogdanov, it's very linked to the Kremlin, to some people in administration, secret services. For example, the first thing that really I was shocked is that when you do the agape, at the end of the works,
Yep.
during the ceremonial lunch or dinner or whatever, that there is like an obligation to cheers to the health of Mr. Vladimir Putin, which, I mean, there is no reason, there is no ritual, no one telling that a Freemason has to drink to cheer the head of state.
Well,
And
politics are supposed to be separate.
Indeed. And the hypocrisy, what's the word in English? Sorry, hypocrisy, of course. The thing is that on the one hand, you have all these nice talks. We are not in politics. But if you look at the facts, the link, it's absolutely strong.
So it's a rouge, a rouge and hypocrisy.
I completely agree. And what we can accept, just to be very fair and very correct, Brian, is that for me, it's good to drink to the country where the Masons are,
Absolutely.
insofar the country accepts the Freemasons acting in the country. Yeah, so sure. This is acceptable but not drinking to Mr. X, Mr. Y, Putin, Trump, Macron. It doesn't exist nowhere.
Yeah, God. Nowhere. I mean, you could toast to God and country, and that's great. Your God,
yes,
our
that's
country.
Great. The country. Thank you. Thank you that we are here. We are not persecuted. We are not put in Auschwitz like the German Masons, or So yeah. Then what was also very embarrassing is that that Bogdanov put in place a system where he put all the members of the Council of the Grand Lodge of Russia in the lodge, and you felt that this is like a monitoring, like policemen observing what is going on. And can you believe that some people that Bogdanov put, like Mr. Viktor Belavsky, who is also with him in the council of the Supreme Council of the Grand Lodge of Russia, he said literally that he will go make audits in the lodge to see if the people cheers Putin. So
it's a it's a requirement, but not a written requirement.
It's written in a circular letter. It's a requirement, and there are controls. Now they're put sorry, but it makes me laugh because there is nothing to do with Freemasonry. It's much more like Boy Scout or Hitlerjugend. I don't know, but it's really to monitor the life of the person, the life of the Mason. But a Mason remains free. Where is the freedom? A Mason must be free in the spirit, free in the reason. But here you feel like the pressure to be influenced in your mind and in your spirit, but people having maybe other purposes than the development of a Freemason as such.
Like a hidden agenda.
Yeah, indeed. Absolutely. Bravo. Indeed. Indeed. And another thing was completely, then I started to discuss that, of course, I was in Switzerland, but I was in the groups in Facebook. I started to discuss with all these people. And, you know, we started to debate in some posts, etc. And it was very criticizing some aspects of that. I think that the conflict was completely open for two reasons.
Okay.
First reason, it was when I discovered that the Grand Lodge of Russia accepted Freemasons, which were people killing people in the Donbas region of Ukraine, because 2014, 15, etc. So what is happening now in the Donbas? Okay, now we have the open war, the total war. But before, it was always like the tension.
Yeah.
And they accepted within the lodge people who are posting pictures of the torture instruments they're using on the Ukrainian soldiers. I mean, if you're a soldier, if you're a regular soldier, like an American, Russia, Swiss, French, if you are in mission in Iraq, etc., okay, you're a military, you're doing interests of your country. Yeah, it's your job. But when you put on Facebook the instrument of torture of people, how can, and that Bogdanov knows about that, that for me, it's unacceptable. Right. My good friend and my good brother, Andrei, who is looking this not Bogdanov, another Andrei, say to me that I have, in my astrological chart, I have the Saturn, very strong Saturn, Yep. And for me, some things are unacceptable. And if I don't accept, I just leave the organization. And for me, that was not acceptable.
Well, any organization that you're involved with must match your core values. So if stuff that's going on doesn't match your core values, no matter what it is, whether it's work,
exactly,
you got to go.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. But my problem is that I'm just I put the light on because it's getting dark a little bit. Just a second.
No, you're good. It's good. Come on back.
It's good.
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, good. All right. And the thing is that also what happened, it was that these core values. I'm a naive person. Alexander, let's go back. Alexander the Man is a naive person. I said, maybe I'm wrong. You start to doubt. You say, maybe I don't have the right vision, but then I need, you have to really find, again, the confidence in yourself.
Yep.
To say, no, this is unacceptable. Because even if Giuseppe Garibaldi was outside all this, the core of these Bogdanov people, however, you can feel the emanation of this wrong spirit which Bogdanov put in the Grand Lodge of Russia. You see?
Yep.
And then another point, what happened, I have another good friend, and we had some conversation in Facebook regarding politics, without touching Freemasonry. Sure. It was about economics, geopolitical. Yep. And what did the right hand of Mr. Bogdanov, Mr. Viktor Bilavsky? He took the screenshot of this conversation. He put this screen conversation in a Masonic group where it was written that's forbidden to discuss about politics, geopolitics, Putin, Trump, Macron, And he saying that after this post, I won't shake the hand of Alexander and of this brother, with whom I had this conversation in the future. So where is brotherhood? Where is the absence of politics? So it's completely, it's like, it's like a caricature, it's caricatural, it's like, and after that, and after I also I write.
You're allowed to talk. Here's my point of view. You're allowed to talk politics if it's that point of view, right?
Indeed. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when I started to mention in several groups that several brothers of the Grand Lodge of Russia are part of terroristic organizations which are killing people in the Donbas, I had some threats, people telling me directly and indirectly that, okay, if you come, we will I know, we will beat you or we will kill you. We'll, it was really, 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 it's getting very, very, very high,
Yeah.
And at a certain point, after discussion with several brothers, I won't mention who they are because they are still brothers.
Yep.
They said, Alex, we now, if you feel that you leave because maybe let's wait that the Bogdanov epoch passes, and then we can see after that what can happen, And it's exactly what I did. It's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
However, Brian, it's very important for me to mention and to say very openly that I'm not Leo Taxil, okay? The traitor
the
of
Taxil
Freemason.
hoax. We're very familiar.
I love Freemason. I would like to go back because I think that when you also touch some spiritual world and some other spiritual paths, it's also good to because to with this knowledge, to share this knowledge, to get this knowledge from Freemasons, because you have what was also good. Let's also speak about positive things in order to be fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
What in Russia was good is that a lot of Masons were young.
Yeah.
When I started in Freemasonry, I'm 39, so I was
29.
28. I was 28,
Yeah.
So at 30, you are a Freemason.
That's
you are
great.
you are a Master Mason. So this is amazing. The potential of Russia, the potential of Russian brothers. By the way, all these young brothers, which are also open to the world, open to the spiritual world, most of them left the Freemasonry, or they are abroad, or
Yeah.
And this is a pity, because really, especially in Eastern Europe, Poland, Russia, Ukraine, Romania, when you go there, you feel already in the society there is an energy, a young energy.
Yeah.
People they're full of energy. They like to construct the country, and there is really a real potential to put this energy in something good to do good things within the Freemasonry, and not doing things which are, let's be very diplomatic, very doubtful, And this is that's a pity. That's a pity. And I mean, another thing which was very very embarrassing is that what is happening also now. It's absolutely the result, a bad development of these bad bases, which were in place already at that time. All this story with Kazakhstan, all this story within the votation, the election of the
Grand Master
of the masters, the master of the lodge, etc. That they are now, for example, they're doing what we call carousel. They just take some people from the Supreme Council of Russia, and they put them in the lodge in order to have voices to vote the person who is, the Bogdanov's man, So it's really manipulation. So Freemasonry is not democracy, okay? It's an order, but you need to consider the opinion of the brothers, because otherwise everybody is frustrated, it's unhappy,
and they leave.
And they leave, of course. So that's.
I have two questions. Here.
Please.
One, do you think Putin is a Mason?
No idea. I no idea.
It just seems strange that if he's not, and you guys are toasting, that's interesting. Secondly, so let me look at it from a different perspective.
Sorry, can I develop my reply about Putin? I don't think he is. I will reply this manner. The brother of Napoleon. I'm not comparing Putin to Napoleon Bonaparte.
Sure.
Napoleon is very high level.
Well, Napoleon might be actually taller.
Yeah. However, we don't have the information that Napoleon was Freemason, but we for sure know that his brother was the Grand Master of the Grand Lodge, Grand Orient of France. So to develop the reply, do you think that Napoleon had an influence on the dynamics happening on the top management of the Grand Orient of
Great point.
France?
Whether he
Surely
was a
yes.
Mason or not.
Indeed.
Great
Indeed.
point. Great point.
So, considering that we know that for sure you have in the administration of Putin some people who are initiated, that they have the title of Freemason, they have the degrees, etc. But they have a hidden agenda. This, yes, the reply is yes. Because, and if all these Bogdanov people say that it's not the case, they are lying. They are lying, and that's not true, because it's obvious. And within the years, it's getting less and less hidden, by the way. Yeah. Did I reply to your question? Sorry, it was a little bit long.
No, it did. It did. It actually, so, and it still dovetails me to my second question is, if I want to, let me just say I run let's make up a country. We call it the country of Byrdikstan. That's a new country. So I am the president of Byrdikstan, and I'm bringing Masonry over, and I want to take it off, but I want to use Masonry for bad reasons. So as the president of Byrdikstan, I call my buddy over and say, hey, you're going to be the Grand Master. I want you to bring in young professional men so we can change their mind, and that will be the new influence going out. Do you think that may be something that's going on?
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely.
Okay.
That's evident. Also, regarding also the fact that, for example, several lodges of in the not in the countryside but in the regions of Russia, the great masters, or not the great masters, sorry, the masters of the lodge, of the regional lodges, are also linked politically to Bogdanov, because they are, representing his organization, which is an organization doing some political technology, etc., linked somehow to the United Russia Party, which today is like the Communist Party of the Soviet Union in the past, are a caricature of. You have always this link, but everywhere, and that's this is true. This is true. Another thing which has been discovered, again, which lead me to the decision to leave Freemasonry. Now, for example, if you go out, like you, Brian, like a man, me, Alex, like a man, we go out, we have some drinks, etc. Yeah. This one thing. However, what I also observed is that during Masonic works, there were also like a big turnover, not only of drinks, but also of drugs. I'm not talking about legal drugs like marijuana, but drugs which are a little bit more serious, that if I can tell it, the people gets very excited when they
like
do this.
You're talking coke.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah. And this is everywhere. There's like a traffic within the lodge, like a trade of cocaine within the lodge. You see that the people they are looking bizarre during the works, and I mean, first of all, okay, you can do it at home, you can do it in the bar, but maybe the lodge is not the proper place to do it. First of all, for the respect for others. And then the second thing is that in any case, and that it's very important, in any case, in Freemasonry, in any rite, you have a part of magic, of the magism, Yep. And in any case, you are interacting with some subtle entities. And any magician, any mystic will tell you, if your consciousness is alterated, it can be spiritually dangerous.
Exactly right.
Because your spiritual psychic defense, they are really lowering, and you can make enter in yourself some forces which are not really, how to say, positive, if I may say. It can sound a little bit stupid, a little bit naive, Brian, but people who know about this interaction between drugs, spirits, etc., they know. If you also read all these works of magician of the 19th century, of the 20th century, they say, okay, don't drink before doing that, don't take drugs before doing that, because
it
so
alters your state of
exactly,
mind.
exactly. You must be clear. You must be in equilibrium.
Yeah.
Like it's like the hat of the master mason. Why do we have a hat? Is that your brain must be protected from the influence, but your soul, your heart, must also be isolated from
Pure.
the
Yeah.
from pure.
Wow.
There is no purity. I mean, and the problem is that it's not only consumption; it's the trade, and which follows also all these stories related to the Russian politics. When at a certain point there was a lot of trade of cocaine with Moscow's, Venezuela, all that. I'm not now accusing somebody, but it's strange that again we have like you know the dynamics of the Grand Lodge of Russia follows quite closely the dynamics of what is going on in the
Yeah.
Russian political administration, which leads to the conclusion that maybe we have same people
Yeah.
that are
It
doing the
goes
same
back
things.
to your Napoleon connection.
Exactly.
You
And
know, it's crazy. I hate it for everybody that joined Masonry under the pretense of I want to be a better person and engage my spirituality, and then it turns into, you know, hookers and
but
blow. So
but you know what, Brian? What again? That's why when you go I'm not doing like a hierarchy that okay, Masonry is here, and then you have other spiritual paths which are above. They're not above. They can be in parallel.
sure.
One can be Freemason, Martinist, Golden Dawn. You can have
Yeah, I
different
agree.
paths. But I mean, in other spiritual organization I'm member of, I'm not blind. I don't see that, and you really find the food for your spirit and for your mind. When I went to this path in several years, I felt that spiritually I went very I progressed a lot. And
Right.
but this I was expecting to find in masonry, and I would have find it if I had other people were managing that and
Yeah.
were encouraging that, and not going to do politics, cheering to Putin, all that. They're
Yeah.
concentrated because the agenda is different. The agenda is not to empower the
Yeah.
spirit of man. The purpose is absolutely unacceptable and not linked to Freemason. Sorry, I'm a little bit
No,
emotional,
no, I
but
get it. I get it. That sucks. That sucks when you're going in for this reason and then they just burst your bubble and it's like, oh, well, I know this is what
yeah,
we told you, but actually it really is the ultimate. Here you go. Look at this. Oh, but here it is. It's a bait and switch.
yeah, yeah.
That sucks, man. I hate
So
that for you, Alex.
yeah,
I hate
but I mean, I'm not complaining. In any case, for me, it was important to say because I had, because several brothers I have, and I'm still friend with and brother with, they're
Yeah.
still in Russia. They are struggling against that. They are like, the knights of the light in this darkness, and they're trying, in any case, to find some, you know, within this darkness to keep the proper link. And they are doing an amazing job. They are publishing books, and they're absolutely conscious about what is going on. And I say many times to that, I said, leave it, leave it. Let's wait. Except to say, we remain because we feel that we don't lose the hope. Maybe I lose the hope. Maybe I surrender, Brian. Maybe
that.
sometimes I wake up in the morning and say, maybe I should have just shut up and say, okay, but I cannot. It goes against, it's a
Exactly
matter of
right.
personality.
Yeah.
So, several people, they can exist like hidden, mesmerizing. They say yes, 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 Mr. Bogdanov, but then in the reality, you know what you have to do, what's your duty as Freemason, like a master. But I cannot. It's not my nature, you know.
Well, but that's not what my understanding of Masonry is this. We don't want men that will just conform. You know, we want them to kind of learn it and do it this way, but we want free thinkers that help the fraternity, help their fellow brothers, help their community, help their fellow man. And everything that I'm hearing is like, it's so oppressive.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And
I
what we
hate
discuss,
that for you. I hate it for you because that's not what Masonry is supposed to be.
exactly, exactly. And then when I started the process to get out. So just to be very fair, so I wanted to go out, but then after all these posts and all these discussions, Bogdanov and all his men, they took the decision to kick me out of the Freemasonry, but I was already in the process to get out. But okay, that's fine. That's not a problem. Just to be, I was not, sure. I mean, it's a formal kicking out because I was already on the path. Yeah.
Sure.
And then, but then also, what I started to do, I started to participate to the works here in Switzerland, in Alpina, and they said, okay, if I leave Grand Lodge of Russia, I go to Alpina. But when you have that, you, maybe it's a little bit childish, but then you lose the hope, not only in Freemasonry Russia, but Freemasonry in general.
I don't know how you couldn't. I don't know how you couldn't. I think it's fair. I mean, and that stinks. I hate it for you. I hate it for you, man.
But anyway, that what is good is that in any case, the truth is coming out.
Yeah.
And this is the most important. And if before Bogdanov could hide something and travel and tell bullshit, the Russians say peace in the ears of people. I mean, telling bullshit, and telling bullshit to other Masons.
I've never heard that. So instead of bullshit, it's pissing in the ears of. I've never heard that saying. I love that.
And now the truth is coming out, and for the last developments that we know is going on is that, first of all, we have now people buying Bogdanov to be the worshipful master of the lodge. So it's $50,000. Yeah. So you can some arrangement that can be done. And okay, but that's because I think I have the feeling he sees that like a business, giving him money, So the costs are there. Okay, I mean it's a business plan. It's not okay, but he treats that like a personal business. Wow. But another thing that happened, which is very, very, very embarrassing, and this is very also very important to mention, is that there are some elements also indicating that past Grand Masters of Russia were also convicted for pedophilia.
Wow.
And this was something that the current management of the Grosh knew. Because this is a little bit difficult to explain. Maybe I will do it by email. I will, so you have the information. But there were one of the past great master was convicted for that. Then there was something bizarre what happened, because in Russia, I don't know if in the United States or in Kansas, that's the same. For each and every sentence, you can go on the site and to see the sentence. So, for example, Mr. Smith is convicted. Blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
We had that in the beginning. Then this disappeared somehow, maybe for some connection in the justice, thanks to some links with administration, with Bogdanov, etc.
Yeah.
Then Bogdanov was telling that he was that the person who was convicted with that, so the past great master, so who was the great master before Bogdanov, who also gave to Bogdanov the degrees of the Grand Master of Russia. Yeah. Yeah. When the facts were there, he was still active Freemason. And there is also a circular letter that we have, show with the date, showing that this brother is decorated with this medal. And if you see the dates, it was done when the fact of pedophilia happened and the guy was convicted.
Wow.
So you can, and then this circle disappeared. And when you mention this story to Mr. Bogdanov, he gets very nervous. So I'm not at all telling that he's involved, okay?
Right.
Because we are speaking about something serious.
Sure.
But we are the situation seems that most probably, highly likely, he knew.
Yeah.
And he didn't take the position condemning that, because if I'm a great master and I have that, I make an official statement saying that this, because this is much better, you know.
There are a lot of there are a lot of crimes that will say, oh, that's not so bad, that's not so bad. But I think universally, pedophilia is a deal killer to me.
Yes, but it's better for me. It's a deal killer. Of course, if this becomes public, but you do a proper statement saying that unfortunately we're a human organization. We have this.
And we don't condone this.
And we don't continue. And this person is now in prison, convicted, condemned. Okay, justice is done. But if you start to make snaky games, and it will come out. It's already coming out.
Yep.
It's already coming out. You cannot hit that. Every truth one day will be shown to the large public. And this is very harmful to the Masonry because it confirms all the prejudice that Freemasons are eating children. They have these. You are giving food to these people which are anti-Masons. You see, they are Satanists. They are blah blah blah.
And what that does for the good Masons that aren't involved in any of that, they're guilt by association now.
Indeed.
And which arguably, if that became big enough, they would think, oh, it must not only be going on here, it must be going on everywhere, which is also bullshit.
Indeed.
Wow. This is not what I thought that I would hear. And my mind is blown so I've got a couple of things that are disturbing to me. Number one is a man that joined Masonry for this, and he literally got bamboozled and then it taken away. That's one side. And that's what bothers me the most, because I know how important Masonry is to me and what it means to me. And if I would have been bamboozled, I don't know how I would feel. And then just the other side, I've heard nearly everything that you've told me, but never has anybody said, let me just tell you, you get snippets, but to sit here, it sucks to have that, because again, we're a human organization, as you said, bad things happen, but when it starts at the leadership, it's terrifying.
It's exactly what is
tough to break the culture. Yeah.
Absolutely, Brian. It's exactly what is also happening within the Catholic Church. With all the respect of the Catholic people, I'm not criticizing Catholics, but look, it's exactly the problems that the Catholic Church has. They hiding, and one day it explodes like a bomb.
It is, and it's that same deal when we talk about the Catholic Church. There's such a big stigma, and not everybody is involved, but when there's a cover-up, it makes the public assume that, well, everybody must be involved, and we know that's not the case, and that's what sucks for the members of the Catholic Church and Freemasonry in this type of thing. It's a guilt by association.
Yeah,
it sucks. Oh my God.
Yeah, and that's a little bit how to say how to say. I think that we that are the elements which drive Alexander the man who went in the Freemasonry out, because you don't want to be associated anymore
Yep.
To these people and to what they are emanating, what they're doing, what they're covering. Because, in any case, Masonry is an egregor,
Mhm.
it's not only man, it's also spirit.
Yep.
And what's this? You just don't want to be within the spirits because it doesn't
Exactly.
match your individual spirit.
Yeah. Yeah. They have to
Um,
align. They have to align, and they're just not aligning. And God, that sucks. I mean, it's that just sucks. I can't even I don't have any other words just to know what it means to me and for it just to be bastardized for you. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. So, well, Alex, thank you for taking the time to come out with me, and thanks for coming on
yes,
the Old Fashioned Masonic Podcast. Cheers.
thank you very much, Brian. Thank you very much, and thank you for the invitation. And all the best for you. And even if we also say that even if you are not more within the masonry, you remain a Mason.
Yep.
Once you are initiated. So all my best wishes to you and to your brothers in the region where you are. All the
Appreciate it.
best.
Cheers.